Let's have a look at the Wahl-O-Mat for the election in Baden Württemberg. I don't live in this state, but let's have a look what the questions are.
Welcome to YD. Why do Germans do things the way they do?
The state government should support companies that manufacture armaments in Baden Württemberg. So, the question, if you like it or not, I just would say I agree. Childcare and daycare centers should be free of charge for all children. You know, in another video, I showed you that in some federal states, the sibling is free of charge, in some federal states, the last year free of charge. And here's a question, if the whole daycare center should be free of charge for all. If you're wealthier, get more money, you pay more. If you are poorer, you pay less. I don't know. I'm neutral. The obligation to install a solar power system during complete roof renovations will be abolished. So it seems that today, if you have a complete roof renovation, you have to install a solar power system, and that should be abolished. Why? Why should it be abolished? No, I think it should not be abolished. If they have it, I think it's okay. When expanding transport infrastructure, rail should be given priority over road. Yes. You saw it on the video about the waterways. 70% of all goods are transported on road, only 20+% on rail, and it should be much more on rail. It would be very advantageous. So when expanding, rail should be given priority. I agree. The rent control law in cities and municipalities in Baden-Württemberg is to be abolished. So I don't know the exact rent control law in Baden-Württemberg. It's always pro and con. So for the people who want to rent, it's better if the rent is controlled. But for investors, some of them will not invest if the outcome is not so good. Ah, I'm neutral. Baden-Württemberg should advocate for an end to entry controls at the borders with France and Switzerland. So, in general, in Europe, you have the free movement, you can go across borders, but at the moment, the German government has several controls at the borders. I think it's not according to EU law. I don't know. And they should advocate to an end at the borders to France and Switzerland. Yeah, I would agree. More hospitals in Baden-Württemberg should be publicly owned. Yes, I totally agree with this because if you have a private hospital, there's always somebody behind who wants to make profit. So somebody will make profit out of a system which is massively socially funded. So I agree they should be publicly owned. Video surveillance of public places is to be expanded. Or should be expanded. I don't know how much it is. So you see, like in the UK, you sometimes have even no place which is not caught on CCTV. In Germany, it's rarely the case. I don't know how it is in Baden-Württemberg at the moment, so I'm neutral on this. Baden-Württemberg should only promote organic farming. I think organic farming is good, is valuable. I think you don't get the outcome. So uh, I'm neutral on this. The country should provide greater financial support to memorial sites that commemorate crimes of National Socialism. And I don't know how much support they do. This is again something. So if you think about the extreme right wing, they sometimes are fascinated of National Socialism and claim it was not so bad and whatever. So you see some people miss the why it should be not again. On the other hand, we have lots of memorial sites, the stumbling stones and whatever. So there are many things. Greater financial support. I hope they give a certain financial support, and at this point I would disagree. I hope they do enough, but as I said, I'm not from Baden-Württemberg. A multi-tiered school system, Werkrealschule, Hauptschule, Realschule, Gemeinschaftsschule, Gymnasium, should be retained. Hmm, hmm, hmm. Yeah. Should they retain this system? I mean, they have the Gemeinschaftsschule. I think it's okay. So, as I said in my video about school system, in some federal states, you only have like the Gemeinschaftsschule and maybe the Gymnasium. Bavaria is the only one which still has only Hauptschule, Realschule, and Gymnasium. I think they have it. So, yes, I'm neutral. State contracts should continue to be awarded only to companies that pay collective agreed wages. They just did it in the uh, for the government, for the federal government. Now it's for the federal state. I think it's good to have a collective agreement. So I would say I agree with this. Yeah, I would do this. All initial reception centers in the country are to offer psychosocial counseling for asylum seekers. Ooh, that's an interesting point because many of these people have problems at this point. They saw horrible things. They fled through horrible conditions, and maybe if from the beginning you see if they have such a problem, that would be better to even avoid problematic situations later. All initial reception centers should offer this. On the other hand, even the German or the people in Germany who need the help for this for psychologists and so on, it's a lack of psychologists. So I don't know if they would have enough to do it. So to offer, I think it's good. I don't know if they have enough. And all initial reception centers, I would be neutral on this. Baden-Württemberg should advocate for a relaxation of the sanctions against Russia. Relaxation, less sanctions. No. Spelling that linguistically represent gender diversity using special characters, asterisk, underscore, and so on, should be allowed to be used in schools. That's an interesting point. Some people in German we say gender. So usually you would say, for example, die Ärzte, die Ärztinnen, the male doctors, the female doctors, and you would make Ärzt and an asterisk innen to combine it to use less words. Should be allowed in school. At the moment, we even have no general setup for this. So, allowed in school, yes. Taught in schools, maybe that there are different options and which are used, but so not mandatory to use it. It's very important because it's a free thing. You can do it, you can avoid it as you want. So should be allowed. So allowed, yes, I think it should be allowed. The number of members of parliament in Baden-Württemberg state parliament is to be reduced. I don't know how many members they have. You always have usually the double amount of members which you have circles where you elect them. Or I'm neutral on this. I don't know how many they have. The country should continue to support projects against right-wing extremism. Yes, of course. Baden-Württemberg should advocate for an increase in tax on very large inheritances. This is a general question we have in Germany. Um, if you are very rich, you could pay for this. You could give your share. You won't be it would not harm you because you are so rich. And others say, yeah, but if these rich people have to pay more taxes, they will leave and whatever. Um, I think it would be a fair share. So, yeah, I would agree. The recommendation of the primary school should be binding when transition to secondary school. Ah, good question. Traditionally, we have three types of schools: the Hauptschule, Realschule, and Gymnasium. Hauptschule is, let's say, the easiest and for blue collar workers, you could say. Realschule is a bit more complex and, let's say, for white collar workers, and Gymnasium is those who wants to study. Now the question is, after primary school, what is 4 years in Baden-Württemberg? Only in Brandenburg and Berlin, it's 6 years. So after these 4 years, you would say, okay, this kid could learn good or bad, and it will make a fine degree on Realschule, but not on Gymnasium. And that should be binding. I mean, they have the Gesamtschule, so the combination of all of it. Ha, They're these are professionals, so the teachers are the professionals who would know the best. But I'm neutral on this. A larger proportion of Baden-Württemberg's area should be available for construction of wind turbines. I don't know how big the area is, what is available. You always have these issues. You want to have a nice landscape. You don't want to have them everywhere. You don't want to have them in the woods or near the houses. I don't know what the proportion is in Baden-Württemberg. I know it in Bavaria, it's very limited, but I don't know how it is in Baden-Württemberg, so I'm neutral on this. Leadership positions in state authorities should be filled equally by women and men. 50% of the people in the country are women, 50% are male. Why are men more in those leadership positions than women? This is always a question. If you have enough, so on the state level, you have enough. Yeah. Sometimes they even say, oh, even in the party level in the local area, you should make it equally. And sometimes you don't have enough of this sex. Um, I would say yes, equally, but on the other hand side, you might have a better option with another person. No, neutral. Video surveillance should be permitted in large farms to monitor livestock farming. Yeah, why not? Yes. Baden-Württemberg should advocate for more flights to be offered from Stuttgart Airport. In German airports, there are often restrictions on the time when flights can take off. For example, not in the night or other things to avoid stress for the neighbors and so on. And flight is very bad for the environment. So should advocate for more. Oh no. Confessional religious education will continue to be offered in schools in Baden-Württemberg. Yeah, why not? So usually or traditionally you have the religion in school as a subject. You usually divide it to Catholics and Protestants. If you have many people from the Islams or Muslims, you often offer also a Muslim uh, class. I don't know if they also offer a Jewish class, and you often have um, ethos or ethics for those people who don't have a confession. Um, I, s- I think the way how we do it in Germany with religion is very relaxed, and in all the religious classes, you usually learn all, at least the five major religions in the world. How do they do it, and so on, will continue to be offered. Yes, why not? I think it's okay. Rental apartments that have been vacant for extended periods should be consistently removed from their owners and rented out. Ooh, that's an interesting thing. So if you have a rental apartment, but you just keep it because you think it will be more valuable in the next 2, 3, 4 years, and then you can sell it again. For this time, it's not given to somebody uh, removed from their owners and rented out. So this issue is removed from their owners. Is there a possibility, yes, that you have something and somebody can take it from you just because you didn't use it? I don't know if it should be removed from the owners and rented out, or if the owners have to be forced to rent it by, let's say, they have to pay a fine or something. To remove, I think not removed. Some kind of fine, yes, but removed. I think there would be a major problem with the law. So for removal, I disagree. Neutral. Here, I disagree. The police in Baden-Württemberg are to be equipped with electroshock pistols, tasers across the board. They are used in different areas as well, and the use is similar to a normal gun. So only if you would use a gun in this situation, you are allowed to use these tasers. Um, and for this part, it's sometimes advantageous to have this option. And usually, one of those two policemen would take out the taser and the other the gun. And so if the taser works, everything is fine, and the uh, attacker or whatever is neutralized. If not, they would be shot as well. So yeah, I think it would be good. In Baden-Württemberg, public transport should be free for users. That's interesting. For example, in Luxembourg, it's a very small state, a small country, but there everything is free, and it would work. It would work to do this because there are massive subsidization, subsidization, yeah, whatever, subsidies. There are major subsidies by the public to those companies. Yeah, it would be fine. In schools in Baden-Württemberg, the traditional family model, mother, father, children, could be given priority. Priority. It is still the standard model. Yeah. So yes, you have a mother, a father, and children. One or more, sometimes not. But I have no numbers, but I would think the family model in that case is probably more than 50%. It will be rarely that you have uh two parents of the same sex, but okay, you often have a single parent. I would say half of those is this traditional model, and the other half is mixed with other things, single parent, patchwork family, and whatever. What given priority on what? Mm, So I think they even show this. This is whatever in the Bible. We have the religious education, for example. That's the standard model in the Bible, right? Um, it changes. So I don't know what they say. Given priority. Yeah, by what? In books, so that 5 of 6 families in the book should be the traditional family and the one is the other one, or is it not allowed to say anything on the other one? Um, I would be neutral. For every newly developed area, an equally large area must be landscaped. That's interesting. And I think that's true because we have closed too much land, so they couldn't grow anything. This and we have to think about it again. And sometimes cities stretch out and so on, and this is bad. So, yes, municipal culture offerings are to receive greater financial support from Baden Württemberg. Oh, that's interesting. So, even in Baden Württemberg, you have Baden and Württemberg and Schwaben and other areas, and they are the Fastnet, these traditional local cultural things, um, the Black Forest houses, the wives with the big hats, and so on. And yeah, you should support it. And municipals are always badly financed, so I agree on this. Baden-Württemberg should ensure that more clinics offer abortion. Oh, more. I know in some areas in Schleswig-Holstein, around Paderborn and so on, you had the issue that some clinics were purchased or owned by the Catholic Church, and the Catholic Church forbid abortions. So they said, no, not in our clinic. Ha! As I said before, more clinics should be publicly owned. With this, then they should offer the possibility of abortion. So I think, yeah, publicly owned would mean this also. The country's universities should collaborate more closely with private companies. Interesting aspects. I don't know how they do it in Baden-Württemberg or not. In North Rhine-Westphalia, they do it in different parts, but I don't know what they mean with more closely. So you still want to have the freedom of teaching, the freedom of education, and no need to say, yes, for example, this very sweet, sugar rich lemonade is very healthy. No, it's not. Um, should cooperate more closely. I don't know how closely they cooperate. I think it's not bad in general, and different things are given by the companies, but I'm neutral on this. Protection against uh, protection against discrimination by state authorities is to be strengthened through oh, what a word. Protection against discrimination by state authorities is to be strengthened through legislation. I don't know how the legislation is now and what they want to change. I assume in general it is not allowed. I don't know how they do it or not. So they came across that there is quite a lot of discrimination for different reasons by the authorities throughout Germany. Um, I don't know if it should be strengthened by legislation or you just have to educate the people. I'm neutral on this. Asylum seekers should be housed exclusively in collective accommodations until a decision is made on their application. This is an interesting point. So, if I have an asylum seeker coming from a dangerous area, maybe just now, for example, from the Iran, what is very present now, And they get out of Iran, come here and seek for asylum because of the war in Iran, because of the regime in Iran, because of whatever. They would hand in their things and then there would be a decision. And after the decision, they can stay or not. Why should it be problematic if they stay in a collective accommodation? Collective accommodation, for example, could be an old barrack where before the soldiers lived, whatever. Now there are those people. They get food, medical attention, and whatever. And this information. I think, and if you have all your papers and it's very clear who you are, everything is right, it should be a fast thing. So weeks or month. If you have no papers, if it's very complex, you would be there for a longer time. But to be honest, you fled from an area where you feared for your life, and now you are in a safe area, just not so free to live where you want. It's housed exclusively. It does not say you are not allowed to go out and something of this. So yeah, I think yes. Baden-Württemberg should advocate for the continued registration of new passenger cars with fossil combustion engines even after 2035. This is so stupid. This is so massively stupid. Before they said, oh, yeah, 2035 and after we still can have it. It's such a bullshit. The whole manufacturers of German cars were fine to stop it there, and they wanted to go with the electric engine. But then it was a conservative said, no, we will change it, and this is such an uncertainty. No, of course not. No. The German armed forces should continue to be allowed to hold events at schools in Baden-Württemberg. Well, I showed a whole video about the German armed forces, the Bundeswehr. I think it's not an issue, especially when now every 18-year-old gets information about the Bundeswehr. So, should continue to be allowed, yes. The country should increase its effort to recruit foreign skilled workers. If you have too few, yes, you have to do it. Baden-Württemberg should stick to its goal of climate neutrality. Of course! So, weighing. What is important? I would say rail in front of road is important. Collective agreed wages, I think it's also good. No, I don't think we should ease the sanctions against Russia. I think that's fine. Something else? Electroshock. Oh, I think this electroshock is also fine. So, let's have a look. So, here are the parties. So, the interesting thing of Baden-Württemberg, the Greens are currently the the party in charge of the government. They have a coalition, but they are in charge here. So that's the interesting thing. Currently, it's those are very near. I think the CDU is currently a bit before, and they are the others. I hope I get no pregnancy week. No, there is no South Schleswig photo company. You can all parties. Yes, all parties. And let's have a look. Oh, so what would be Volt? It's a pan-European party. So with that, what I've chosen, it would be Volt. I don't know if I saw them besides the EU. So at all in Germany, it's not so big. So for European, yes, but in Germany alone, it's not massive uh, support here for voters. Climate list, I don't know them. Never heard of them. I suppose some of the Greens, where this was not enough, they went to the climate list. We have the Green, what is this? Party of Humanists, Facts, Freedom, Progress, very minor party. The party, it's a satirical party? Yeah, I don't know what they will do. It was a satirical party. They are even in the European uh, Parliament with one or two people. What do we have here? Partei Pros, never heard of it. These are also ecological, but very small usually. The left, this is a, let's say, a major party. These are socialists. These are the Social Democrats. Animal welfare, GDR. Pensioners Party. Okay. Probably also very free voters. This I haven't heard of them so much. They are very strong on municipality level. Um, but in Bavaria, for example, they were enough to be in a coalition with the CSU. I don't know how many they get in Baden Württemberg. Justice Party, never heard of this. This is a new party. Don't know where it is. Somewhere between far left and far right. I don't know. This is the CDU. The the Christian Democratic Union is in 15 federal states in Germany without Bavaria because there it's the Christian Socialist Union. But they both align on federal level. Here is the Liberals. They lost their seats in the federal government. Yeah, and here we have the far right AfD, and this is the Werteunion. Yeah, this is crazy thing. This is a mixture between AfD and CDU. Don't know how much they will get. So I could go on with tuning what I want to make, so change it a bit or so.
Remarks, addition, and comments in the comments. Thank you for your attention. See you in the next video.